Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, a show dedicated to helping you expand your capacity, take your life in every area to an entirely new level, and creating a day and a life by design. Here's your host, Dan Hafner. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Run Your Day podcast. As always, Dan Hafner joining you here today. Welcome into another episode, my friends. Today's topic is this: the new masculinity. As always, appreciate you guys coming and joining every single day. All right, so I had an interesting experience today that I wanted to just share with you guys and just kind of talk about. I mean, I'd love to have your feedback on this, but it's just something it's been on my mind for a couple of years now as I've kind of gone through all of the changes in my life that I've gone through. And I had a conversation with none other than my barber today. Yes, I did manage to get a haircut during the lockdown here in West Virginia. My wife's barber or stylist or whatever you call her, she came to my house and gave me a haircut. It was nowhere near as good as the person I currently use. I'm not going to name any names, obviously, not that you guys would care. But anyway, I went and got my hair done. I'm looking good. I'm looking sweet. I wish this was on video so you could see it. But anyway, we got to talking about just life, just a bunch of different things that have been going on. My barber is a man, by the way, and we got to talking about. He brought up this concept of masculinity and some kind of article he read in Men's Health or something. I don't know the name of the article. I don't know the title. I don't have a link for it. He just was talking about it, right? So anyway, he kind of talked about how as a culture, at least here in the U.S., and I don't really know about this abroad anyway, but here in the U.S. at least, there's a lot of changing dynamics inside of masculinity and what it means to be a man, to act like a man, to be a modern man, right? And this really struck a chord with me because this has been a journey that I've been on for a long time, trying to define who I am, what I'm about, what I believe in, and I think I hit a pocket in my life probably 3-4 years ago when I really started to wonder, like these questions really started to come into my mind, and I started to wonder what the answers to these were. Right? Like, what do I truly believe? How am I supposed to act as a man, as a husband, as a son, as a brother, as a brother-in-law, right? There's so many different roles we all have in society, and maybe the ladies listening to this might not, I would love to hear your opinions on these. Obviously, this this episode's a little more directed towards the guys here, but it's a very confusing game for men out there today. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there are a lot more powerful women in this world, right? And I'm not saying that powerful women are a bad thing at all. I think it's great, right? But when you look at the world traditionally, men have always kind of been, it's always been the roles of like the men are the provider, the stronger of the two, and be a man and shut up and don't talk about your feelings, right? And then the women were more in touch with their feelings, more of a feminine style, more passive, more submissive, right? And now in this day and age, those roles are kind of reversing. You see more men that are submissive, more men that are, you know, shutting down their feelings, or maybe even more in touch with their feelings, right? And then you have women who are a lot more dominant, a lot more masculine, a lot more go-getters than men, right? And it puts men in this really strange place. And I've seen this in my own life, right? Because my wife is a doctor, right? And she is also a very strong, very powerful woman. She's an independent woman. Let me tell you what, like, I hope she listens to this episode one day because she'll get a kick out of it. But she knows what she wants. She's been going down the medical field for so long. And it took me a long time to get used to this dynamic where she was so strong and independent. and what's the word I'm looking for? Just she didn't need me, right? Especially when we got to a place where I started going down the entrepreneurial journey and she was making a lot more money than me as I was trying to build up my business, because it used to be I made all the money while she was in school and she was just living on loans, and I was the main provider. I was the man, right? And then this whole role reversal happened, and I think that's part of what happens in society is we base it on money, right? We base it on money, and that's just not a way to do it at all, because it's about supporting each other. It's about believing in each other. It's about being a team with each other, right? And I don't even know how this works with same-sex couples. To be honest with you, I'm not gay. Obviously, I'm straight. Um, I don't have anything against gay people. If you're a lesbian, or if you're homo, or I guess I was gonna say homosexual. That's probably not the right word to say. I'm sorry. I'm not terribly familiar with all of this stuff. I don't really have a lot of gay friends or anything like that. But like either way, it's just I'm going off on a tangent here. I should probably shut up about that. But I don't know how the dynamics work, right? If there's two guys in a relationship, I don't. And if that's you, send me a voice message. I'd love to hear, about how this works in your life. But there's such a confusing game out there for men when there's a woman in their life that rises and becomes stronger, right? Because it puts you in this weird position of like, well, this woman that I'm with, she's showing up as more of a guy right now. She's kind of taking on the traditional quote unquote man role. So where does that leave me, right? And I went through this. I went through this for a lot of years, right? And I finally got to a place where I realized, like, you know what? It's okay if my wife makes more money than me. It's okay if she's independent and she does her thing and she knows what she wants and she doesn't need me. That's perfectly okay. Because for a long time I had this story that who, what value do I have? What things can I bring to our marriage and our life if I can't produce tons of money, or I can't be the quote unquote man, right? And it was a really freaking confusing place, and I got lost for a lot of years. And now, as I climb my way out of that, at least inside of my own head, it's it's liberating, because I'm starting to realize, like, the role of masculinity in society, and this kind of goes back to what my barber was saying, is it's really defined by you, the man yourself, defining it as you see fit, right? And there isn't one singular version of a perfect quote unquote man out there anymore. If you look back traditionally, it was like the man that, provided, the man that went to work all day, the man that, you know, did whatever they did back in the 20s, 50s, whatever the hell, right? Now it's more like just what you define success as, which is really really interesting, right? Because there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong. I'm sure there's a wrong answer somewhere. I don't want to say that, but there's nothing that's truly gonna hold you back from being like, you know what, I'm being a man in the sense that I know that I'm living my truth and that I'm doing the best I can to give whoever I support in life the best of me, right? And that's a freaking powerful ass place to be. Like that's some liberating shit. You know what I mean? Like it really is. And I was just kind of fascinated. I just kind of sat there. I didn't really say much to my barber as this was happening. Like I just kind of took it all in. I'm more of a thoughtful person. I'm more of just like, I'd like to digest things and then come back. Like this was several hours ago, and now I'm coming on and doing this podcast, and um, that's just how I've always been. I'm more of an analytical person. I like to think things through before I have that calculated response. But it's really really interesting, because I think, as I've progressed in my life and the more things I work through and the weaknesses I have and the shortcomings that I have, um, I've really started to be a lot more comfortable with who I am and with what I'm about and with what I believe in. But it took me a long time to get there. Like it took me a long time to really define like, okay, in this time, in this role in my life, I have to be this. And that's the other thing. You know, it changes. You're not going to be the same man that you are your whole life. There might be times where you have to step up and your wife's out of work or she's sick or your kids are doing whatever or whatever happens in your life and you have to step up and work more than ever. Or there might be a time where your wife um, is really handling that type of world and then you have to step in and take care of a sick older parent, or you have to step in and raise kids, or you have to step in and just fulfill a different role, and it will change over time, right? Just as it's changed for me over time. And I'm sure here next year after we move, I'm going to have different roles. And it's crazy. It's crazy because this definition of masculinity and what success looks like as a man is constantly changing, and it's going to constantly change inside of your own life, right? So as I wrap up today, the question I have for you, if you are a man, I apologize, ladies, this will really not apply to you, or you could apply this to the man in your life, right? The question for you is this: what is your definition of masculinity, right? What do you see in your life as truth for what masculinity looks like and what it means to be a man? This is some deep shit. This is some very, very deep shit. And for my ladies, you know what? I would ask you, what does it mean to you to be a woman? Right? What does it mean to you to actually be a successful woman? Beyond money, beyond labels, beyond all that stuff. What does it actually mean to you? Because once you find the answer to this, and this might not come in a weekend, this might not come today, this might not come for years. But once you know and you start putting this puzzle together, it's some freaking liberating shit. I promise you. I promise you it is. All right. So that's going to wrap up the show today. As always, I appreciate you guys joining. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope a lot more people listen to this. This is a very interesting conversation, and I know it's something I don't usually talk about, but I just felt compelled to come on here and share this with you guys. So, all right, my friends, that's going to wrap up the show today. As always, appreciate you joining. I will come at you with another episode here tomorrow, so be sure to tune back in. If you haven't subscribed on iTunes or Spotify, please do. You'll get automatic updates when new episodes drop every morning. All right, my friends, as always, you can head over to runyourdaypodcast.com. The website is up, it's rolling, it's good to go. Opt in. We're going to start sending out weekly emails for just additional resources, information, and updates for stuff. So be sure and opt in over there on runyourdaypodcast.com. All right, my friends, as always, Dan Hafner signing off. Make it a great rest of your day.